Welcome back. We've made it to the end of another week of Friday night. I'm Steve Comber. Thanks for joining us on this edition of City News. With us from Visique, our resident optometrist, Tony Bland. Welcome back.
How you doing there? Good to see you.
The weekend. I'm good. Now, we've talked a lot about adults and eyes and surgeries and all the rest of it, but what about kids?
Yeah, kids are really interesting. They're always, very important in terms of, how their eyes are doing and entertaining to check out and have a bit of fun with it.
So how do you do that? I mean, obviously mum and dad bring the kid in, but then how do you actually do the examination? Because it's fairly complex, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, from about age 3, 2.5 to 3, usually the children are old enough to start using matching tests. So instead of using the letters on the eye chart, because obviously they can't necessarily know all those yet, we'd have shapes and different characters and get them to match that. So we can get a fairly good response from them often about, what they're seeing, how the vision is. And then under that, we just rely more on what we call objective tests. We can actually measure the focusing of your eyes and get an impression of what you're seeing and obviously check the health and coordination of your eyes, even if you can't communicate with us. So that's something under about the age of 2.5 to 3 that we'll do primarily with youngsters. So obviously we're not relying on their responses as much.
Because I mean, you can check from birth really, can't you?
Yes, absolutely we can, yeah. And that's the important, important to be able to look at children sometimes when they're that young, only a few months old, because your vision is developing right up to age 8 or 9. So we want to make sure that it's coming along as it should be.
Is it when you say eyes develop, there are changes that are taking place all the time in younger children? Yeah,
largely the eye is pretty much formed when you're born. But it grows, of course, and everything grows with it. And what you basically need for good, clear vision is an image and focused on your retina at the back of your eye. And so when that occurs, then it's actually the wiring behind in the brain that is most of the visual development things that occurs, right up to age 9 and even a little further than that as well. So what we're really looking for with the youngsters from a developmental point of view is making sure that their eyes are clearly focused. And then when each eye is clearly focused, then they work really well together as a team, and that's where you get your depth perception and good peripheral vision and those things as well. So what we're looking for is making sure that those things are properly focused. And the occasions when a child will often need glasses is when maybe one eye is not as clear as the other, or if the eyes are working too hard, and that can sometimes cause the eyes to turn in a little or out a little, and again sometimes glasses will correct that as well.
So what, when I was a kid, I used to have a lazy eye.
Right.
What's that?
And that's basically the situation where one of your eyes is not clearly in focus on the retina, and so as a result the wiring isn't developing behind in your brain.
Wiring.
Yes. So the way it's often worked on, first of all, is if there's no actual focusing error, in other words the eye is actually in focus, we'll actually just get you to spend some time covering up your weaker eye. Covering up your good eye to get the weaker eye working better. So the parents will often work with patching their children and covering up their eye to get that weaker eye working, in a better way. And sometimes glasses are needed to help that process out. So if the image is not in focus at the retina, then glasses will be used quite often in the short term to allow the eyes to focus properly, and then sometimes those are needed in the longer term as well.
Okay. Well, what do mums and dads look for? We're talking about eyes, I'm itching them now. So.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different sort of symptoms, and the main one is also we're making sure that the eyes aren't a barrier to learning. So we're looking for any kind of learning issues. So if reading and learning issues aren't developing as well as they could be at school and even prior to that, but particularly any kind of unusual behaviour. Usually if one eye is not working as well with the other, you'll often see the youngsters will kind of do something unusual to compensate. So they might turn an eye or close an eye or perhaps cover an eye with their hand or be squinting to see, and any kind of discomfort as well. If they're complaining of tired or sore eyes or headaches, again, we'll want to just rule the eyes out as being a potential cause. And the main aim is to make sure with reading and schoolwork that, it's not a barrier at the end of the day.
And what about financially for people? I mean, with young kids, young kids are expensive as it is, with school uniforms and all the rest of it.
Sure.
I mean, are there subsidies available for people?
Yeah, there is. Through the Enable funding, which is from the government about 6 or 7 years back, for those parents who have a community services card, there's a subsidy that helps to pay for the eye exam and the spectacles until the children turn 16, so 15 years and under. And that just again means there's no reason why people can't bring their children in and have them checked just to be sure that things are developing properly, as well.
Because let's face it, valuable things.
Yes, absolutely.
Not kids' eyes.
Yes,
yeah.
and both. And, and if they get to 9 or 10 and their vision isn't developed fully, then that's basically what you're going to have for the rest of your life. So it's harder to fix after that age. So that's really what I want to do something about.
Get onto it.
Yeah.
Now, what about sunnies?
Yeah,
that's one thing I want to ask you about, because mums and dads wear sunnies all the time, and it's bright too.
Yes.
What about the kids?
Yeah, and they're just as important. Again, you want to, it's just like having sunscreen for your eyes, basically having a pair of sunglasses, and the children are equally important. And so, and something that Visique does is we give free sunglasses to all new entrants when they start school. So there's a little voucher that parents can get from going to a website, which is myvisique.co.nz, and they can bring that in and get sunglasses for youngsters.
Free?
And, yep, absolutely free. And, there's also sunglasses available for the others, who need it as well. And, we have them at a nice low price so that, we realise that the kids are going to lose them from time to time, so they can be replaced easily.
So look after the kids as well.
Absolutely.
Heading
really
to the
important.
weekend. Tony, thanks for catching up.
Cheers, you're welcome.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks.
All right, we'll talk about safety next time, I think.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
Shall we? All right, some statistics.
Yes.
You go away and get them.
That's right.
Tony Bland from Visique Optometrists. That's it for another week. It is Friday. We're out of here for the weekend. Enjoy the weekend ahead with yourself and the family. Anything that happens across the weekend news-wise, maybe you've got an event coming up, we want to know about it for the show, you can phone us during office hours 073488984 or email us on news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Have a good one. We'll catch you back Monday.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.